Hey everyone, DarkDragoon here with episode 14 of my FTB Modpack Let's Play. Just pretty much picking up where we left off. I've gotten done building myself a little bit of a I guess, expansion off of the side of the factory here, basically as a holding place for our Railcraft stuff that's going to be going interdimensionally, particularly bringing our quarry goods back here to be processed in our probably downstairs in our basement. We'll have to work that out when we get to it, but first of all we want to make sure we can get the system in place to actually get the stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up part of it now, and then we're going to have to jump back over to our other world and pick up a few things, and then we can probably finish it. So I've got myself an item unloader here, and I've got myself some tracks ready, as well as some stuff so I can get the carts made for this system. But I figure I'll go ahead and lay the tracks down, and then we'll get the carts made, and then we'll be able to test it out. So, item unloader, pretty much you guys should recognize this setup, although this time we are going to be using holding tracks, just like we used in the other world with our quarry. So we're just going to set this up here. We'll probably have to put a redstone torch somewhere near this track here. There we go. We can just put it right next to it, and that'll work. And yeah, so basically what'll happen is the track will appear here and then shoot down here to the item unloader, unload its stuff, and then carry on. So we got one more piece of track to put down right there. Alright, so we're good with that, and if you remember, we also have everything set up in the other world. So why don't I do this? You can see I've got myself a couple books, and there's a specific reason for that. I'm going to actually make a couple linking books, and the first one I'm going to make is going to be right here where I'm standing on this booster track. Basically, the way linking books work is they will not only link to a particular world, but they will link to the spot, like I think I might have mentioned it when I first started talking about Mystcraft a little bit. They will link back to the spot in which you make them. So by making the linking book here, when we set up our system for the cart to travel interdimensionally, it will appear here. And you can see we have a spare book. We have another one to go into the other world. So that done, while we're here, why don't we go ahead and make ourselves our carts. They're not too hard to make. We're going to need 2 mine carts. One of them should be a mine cart with a chest. That's going to be for our getting our stuff back here. And I'm going to go ahead and make the other one we need, which is going to take a mine cart and a piece of iron tank gauge, which we had left over from quite a while ago. But in case you guys can't remember, it's a pretty simple recipe. It's just some glass panes and some iron plates, which are made in our rolling machine. So cool. So we'll just pop that in there, and we'll have our tank cart for later. Obviously, I've decided to go ahead and set up a system to be able to get some of our steam from our boiler delivered into the other dimension. But obviously, you guys can see a little bit of the piping I've set up here for that. I haven't really done anything much with that beyond getting the piping laid down. I think, see, I had originally planned for it to come out over here, but I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should make some more pipes and direct it all in here, and that way I can just have one room dedicated to that. Yeah, I think that is what I'm going to do. So ignore this, but this is the basic gist of how I'm going to set it up. Is basically I'm just going to run a pipe out from the side of the building and into this room actually. So we'll have to deal with that when we get to it. So why don't we go ahead and pop over back to our other world, the quarry age, if you recall, and we'll get this thing going. Alright, so here we are, back in the quarry age, getting ourselves oriented here. You can see our quarry does look like it's actually started running a little bit. Cool. See, it's starting to eat up dirt, and it should all be going into this chest here. Awesome. Yeah. This might not work, but we'll find out once we actually get to that point. You can definitely see there is some wood forming from our wooden tendrils, so that's kind of neat. So to get this thing going, I might as well go ahead and make my linking book that I need here. Okay, I'm going to stand right here on this booster track now. So I want to make sure that I'm lined up right. Okay. And we're going to make ourselves another linking book to quarry age. Cool. So now we just need ourselves some of these crystals, which I'll be able to show you here in just a minute how they work exactly. Thanks to our diamond drill, they don't take long to harvest up. And we're going to need a decent amount. Not going to need a ton of them, but they're always useful. Between the two systems we have going, we're definitely going to need them. Now, probably what I could do later, and I might do this later because it sounds like a fun thing to experiment a bit with, is we could set up our rail system so that both carts will operate essentially along the same rail system, which could be really cool. I'll probably do that later. I mostly just want to get this system sort of up and running and working before I sort of tidy it up and make it not only functional, but obviously look a little better. That should be a good stack and a quarter, should be more than what we need. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our crystals and we're just going to form them up into a little gate looking thing. Not almost kind of like the way you would set up a nether portal, but in this case we just did a very simple, one wide doorway sort of setup. Crystals are pretty much cool. They work basically they work like obsidian does for the nether portal, except Mystcraft portals can be any size, any shape. They can be three-dimensional. They can pretty much be anything you want them to be. Obviously, since these are just sort of small gates to allow our carts to move through, we really don't need them to be that big. We just need them to be big enough for the cart to pass through. So that done, we're going to make another little thing, which is actually what makes this whole thing work. We're going to take 8 crystals to make a book receptacle, and we're going to need 2 of them, so I might as well go ahead and make one more. Okay, this is how we actually decide where this is going to create a portal to. In this case, we want this portal to go back to the overworld. So you can see there's now a pink portal, and I believe the colors are pretty much random. It'll just randomize a random color. I think if we were to pull the book out, put it back in, yeah, it'll change color. So that's not the book we wanted. There we go. Boom. And then, so this will lead back right here. And we're going to basically set up the exact same thing here as well. So we're just going to dig into the ground a little bit, plane our crystals down, and then slap our receptacle on there and put the book in. So this portal is now connected to our quarry age right here. Cool. So now all we should really have to do, slap down a chest cart and make sure that this booster track has some power, and there it goes. And you can see the item loader here is pulling right out of our chest. It's delivering right to our cart, and we can set this up. We pretty much want to transfer everything, so yeah, this should, I don't know why there's an egg in that batch, but it should go as soon as it's full. There it goes. And now it's stopped here and it's unloading all of its stuff into the item unloader. So now that we have the system set up, we obviously we have a way to get all our stuff back here. We're going to have to also set up a system to sort all that stuff, and in particular to sort cobble toward some kind of thing that will grind it up into sand. This is actually I think a pretty ambitious system because it's got sort of multiple parts, multiple layers to it. So we're going to be working on it, I think, for probably a couple episodes here. But this is the groundwork. Really what we needed to do is get some way to get all that stuff back here, and we've achieved that. So the next thing we're really going to have to do, particularly for now, because otherwise the item unloader is going to get jammed up pretty bad. We're going to at least need to set up a temporary chest so that all of our stuff that we're getting while we're working on all this other stuff can be put somewhere. The tricky part about it is going to be figuring out exactly where underground is the place to do this. So let me go back here. Okay, we're pretty much on this second brick spar out, so like right underneath the macerator basically. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to dig underground here for a minute just to get down here, and I'm going to fall through the floor. Like I said, I want to be able to make sure that this is coming out in the right spot. So we're just going to have to dig into our wall, and there's our item unloader. So cool. So what we can do is we can literally just set up a system. Now, probably what you'll see me do is I'll set it up with Buildcraft pipes at the moment, but when we get red power, this will probably be upgraded to a red power system, which would be much more efficient and much better, but this will have to do for now. So we're going to need to get ourselves a wooden pipe, and we got the stuff for a chest, so I can throw that together. Like I said, just sort of temporary setup for now. Considering the fact that there's probably going to be a lot of stuff coming in here, let's go ahead and upgrade it to an iron chest. And then let me actually do this off camera. I'm pretty much just gonna get your standard wooden pipe redstone engine with pipes pumping down into a chest setup going on. Not too big a deal, so not too exciting. So I'm just gonna do that off camera and then I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back, and we're gonna basically try to make us a commercial steam engine to power our quarry give our quarry a little bit more power than it's currently getting. And you can see the recipe here. It's not too difficult. You can see I just made myself some iron plates, and other than that, we're pretty much just looking at a fairly standard engine recipe. So we're gonna need a couple of these. Now we're gonna have to convert to stone as usual, and then to iron. And we're going to need a little more cobble. Here we go. Now I think our chests up here will wind up moving here shortly, mostly because as we move more towards sorting some things in different ways so that we can obviously like grind cobble into sand, there'll be more of a reason to move our chests into a place where they're a little more accessible. I think we need a piece of glass as well, yeah. This should be right over here. Okay. So, should be good here. I'm not sure if we want to do one or two of these. Why is this? What did we do wrong? Iron gear, glass, iron plate. Something is awry. This should be working. I'm honestly not sure why it isn't. Give me a second and I'll try to figure out what's going on here. Oh, that's why. Not the right kind of glass I grabbed. Figure out why we're being stupid eventually. This texture pack, that hardened glass and the glass is a little similar. There we go. Commercial steam engine, that's what we want. So, yeah, I think one should be enough. I'm hoping it's enough. We're just gonna have to hope it's enough. So let's go ahead and toss it down in our quarry age and see. Try to figure out where's probably the best place for it is probably going to be here on this side where we have this at the moment. I think what we might do, well, yeah, this is probably the best spot for it. stick it down. If we need to move it, what we can also do later on, if we find that we need more room for our other track system, we can always move the engine and then just attach it via either energy conduits or conductive pipes. So no big deal. So now we just need to get a way to basically get steam over to this thing. And even though this Stirling engine isn't too powerful, you can see it is running our quarry, albeit pretty slow. So now let's figure out a way to get steam over into this system, shall we? In fact, I'm going to need to reposition those pipes, so why don't I do that off camera and then I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back, and I went ahead and got myself some more cactus green for some pipe waterproofing, because I didn't quite have enough pipes to move them over here, but I've got myself pretty much set up to where it all needs to go. So I'm just going to dig my way underground real quick here. I already went in from the other side, obviously, but just wanted to make sure that I could get in here. No, we actually don't need to go down that far. We can just run it like so. Cool. And then, obviously, I'm just going to fill this stuff in. And shouldn't be too big a deal that I miss out on refilling some of that. But this should all be pretty well hidden. And this pipe, as you can see, runs all along our wall here and attaches to our steam boiler via that pipe, which is running right down into the floor there. Might as well fill this gap we made earlier when we were considering putting it over there. And conveniently runs underneath this factorization battery, so that's not a problem. Thought it was going to be in the way, but it turns out we were okay. I'll need a little bit more dirt to fill that in, but that's not a big deal. So basically we're going to set up a very similar sort of system with the item unloader, but in this case it's going to be with liquids. So we're going to need a liquid loader and a liquid unloader. So let's get to crafting that, and let's take a look at the recipe. So liquid loader and unloader, they pretty much work almost the same as your item loaders and unloaders, except you can see the recipe is just a little different. We're going to need a detector tank, which is going to need a couple bricks. I hope we have a couple of those left. I think we went through a bunch of them earlier, and we did, which means I'm going to have to go hunting for some clay. So why don't I go ahead and do that, and when I come back I'll craft up this liquid loader and unloader. Alright, we're back, and we should have enough stuff here. We're going to need 2 of each of these, since the recipes are going to be basically identical, except flipped. So a couple detector tanks, and we're also going to need a dispenser, which we've made a couple times now. So we're going to need a couple bows. Pretty easy to make. Okay, and that should be cobble. We're going to need 2 dispensers as well. A couple of those with a bow in the middle. 1, 2. Alright, and other than that we just need some glass. So grab proper kind of glass. And easy enough. Should be able to do this. We got our liquid loader and then our liquid unloader. Cool. So that done. Oop. Things freaked out a little bit. Actually I think we're probably gonna have to move this over one. Yeah, because we want our loader. Actually, yeah, no, we could do it. We could do it here. In fact, let's go ahead and do this. We'll dig into the floor first, just like we did before. This put down, and we can make our receptacle later. But yeah, pretty much this whole system is going to work exactly like the other one. So we'll just You can see the steam is piped up. It does count as a liquid, so this will work. So, liquid loader. So the steam should start filling here. Cool. And then we're just basically going to set up the same sort of system as we had over there. We're not going to need another one of those. Thought I put the regular track there. And then, of course, we're going to have a booster track here, which we are down to our last booster track. I'll have to fix that. Might as well go ahead and make 2 torches. We're going to need them. And then one of them can go there. Cool. And that was a weird little graphical glitch. But yeah, so you'll see the steam will fill up over here. And that's good. Make sure that this system should be producing enough steam. Okay, and that should be going that way, so I don't know why I guess it just needs time to catch up and fill the pipe, but needless to say, the liquid loader is working. So what we can do is no real point in running this up until we're ready to start it, or I could just do that and show you guys. There's our liquid tank. It will go there. Liquid tank will fill with steam, and just like with our item system, this will fly off into what will be a portal into the other world. So yeah, now we just need probably a couple more tracks and set up our liquid unloader on the other side. I'm probably going to also make... Do I still have that glass on me? I do. It's probably worthwhile making a couple of these non-Railcraft tanks, the Buildcraft tanks, which are pretty simple to make. That way we can store our steam once it gets over there. Give me a second, I'm going to sleep through the night, and then we're going to... Actually, we can just head right over there. It should be day by the time we get there. Well, it'll definitely be day in our quarry age. Cool. So, yeah, so now we just need to set up what we could do. Kind of like this idea, actually. Yeah, we could have our system come in right here. Obviously, we'll need a booster track beneath my feet, since I don't have that yet, and luckily this one redstone torch will be able to power both of these. And then we can set up our liquid unloader right here with one of our holding tracks, just like over there. Out of morbid curiosity, let's see, we've gotten mostly dirt, a little bit of crystal, and a little bit of copper. That doesn't hurt. And then, yeah, so we should just be able to set that there. Use up the last of our normal track there. Like I said, we'll have to make ourselves some booster tracks here in a minute, but it's not real important, at least as far as setting all of this up. We're obviously going to need a couple more books so that we can set up our linking book system, our gates here. And we're going to need a couple of these receptacles. Cool. 1, 2. And cool. So now we just need to set up probably the easiest way to do this is probably just go tanks here. Whoop. And then we can just pipe the steam out of this tank into the engine. So looks like we're gonna need, wait, no, we have plenty of golden pipes. I can never quite remember if our liquid unloader needs to have a wooden pipe attached to it, but we'll find that out here in a minute. So that should be more or less set up, besides obviously our booster track here, and this might need a wooden pipe. I honestly cannot remember. I know we're going to need a wooden pipe here to pump steam out of this tank and into our engine. So let's pop back into the overworld. Whoop. Get caught on that. Might as well put one of our receptacles right here. And forgot to put the other one obviously on there, but while we're here we might as well go ahead and get our couple books made. You have to be careful not to turn them into link books just yet. A couple of those. Right over here. You guys have seen this a couple times now, probably enough to have it more or less down. Alright, so yeah, so one book's gonna have to go here. Obviously. Make sure we're lined up good. Okay. And that's what's gonna go into our other world. Go ahead and portal through here. And the other one's gonna end up right here. There we go. So that there. Overworld book. And obviously our tank card is on the other side. Now we can go through here. That book in there. And then come on. Where did our book go? Sometimes it's a little bit buggy. There we go. And that should go to the other side. Now let's just get ourselves another one of these booster tracks, which if I can remember the recipe, shouldn't be too difficult. Try to remember. Oh, spider. Never have our sword on us when we need it. Come on. Yeah, we got plenty of this stuff. And is 6 gonna be enough? Yeah, it's gonna be perfect actually. And then our redstone. Kind of amazed that we happen to have just the right amount of materials sitting around. Doesn't usually happen. So, booster track. And that should last us for a little while. Now we can go ahead and pop through our portal again. And there we go. That should unload its steam. And we can watch it here for a minute. So I definitely want to make sure that it's going through properly. It's a little slow unloading the steam. I honestly wish it was a little faster. And good news was we didn't need a wooden pipe. The liquid unloader is going to automatically empty out into our tank here. We are going to need a wooden pipe, which we should just be able to make right here. And we happen to have a bit of waterproofing too. That's rather convenient. And yeah, there we go. Should just be able to pop this right there. We're going to need our wrench because it's facing the wrong way. Actually, it should be over here in our tool chest. Yep. There we go. And now all we should need is a redstone engine, which I'm looking at what I've got in my hand here, and I think we might have the stuff for it. Just gonna need a couple sticks. And I don't necessarily want to... There we go. We're also going to need a piston. Okay. Again, more usual stuff that you should be pretty familiar with by this point. And our wood's on the ground. There we go. And we should be about ready to... And again, rather convenient that all of this stuff is sort of powered by this one redstone torch. And now we should start getting steam pumping into the steam engine. As soon as it's got enough, it should start to pump Yep, there it goes. Now it'll eat steam pretty fast, but you can already see once this gets up to speed, it's already sped up to about 2 megajoules. It's already outpacing the 2 Stirling engines we had on there. And we're pretty much just using that resource that we've worked so hard to get a ton of, getting that big high pressure steam boiler. You can see we've reached 2 megajoules. It seems like it has a hard time getting past about 4,000 units of steam. I'm not sure exactly why it has a hard time getting past it, because I mean it's definitely got the pipe on it and there's definitely enough steam coming in. It's actually, it might just have something to do with the fact the redstone engine hasn't gone all the way to full power, but once it does it should be able to move steam into the steam engine just fine. But until then, obviously we can keep the Stirling engine on here basically until it chews through all of its coal coke, and hopefully this commercial steam engine will be enough to power this thing. I mean, 4 megajoules isn't a ton, but it should be enough to at least power this quarry so that it's basically constantly moving. And it doesn't have to run particularly fast. I mean, it's a quarry. Its entire purpose is to be sort of a slow-moving machine. But yeah, with the way this is set up, I mean, we pretty much have a way to get as much steam as we need. Hopefully this sort of excess of steam that we're keeping in the tank will help offset the fact that getting the steam and shipping it over here is a little slow, at least slower than I'd like. But you can see we're definitely piling up with dirt, and we'll be able to do something with that probably. Moving ahead, probably looking at maybe recycling it or doing something like that. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But yeah, so here we go. We've got basically an automated system that is completely powering our quarry, which is shipping things back home for us. So that done, let me take a look at some things. Ooh, you can see some crystals coming through. That's cool. Positive thing about building in such a weird world with crystals and glowstone, we're definitely going to get some of that coming through here. But yeah, let me take a minute to figure out exactly where we are and what we need to do next, and I'll be back. Alright, unfortunately it looks like we are past that 30-minute mark, so we're going to basically call this system here, and next episode we'll try to wrap up the other end of this, where we can set up a system to actually do something beyond shoving all this stuff into a temporary chest, and hopefully start getting some sorting going, including, again, the whole point we were doing this was so that we can get sand for our peat bogs. So yeah, got quite a bit done today, and that makes me pretty happy. So I think we made good progress. So anyway, this has been episode 14 of DarkDragoon's Feed the Beast Mod Pack Let's Play. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you later.